Hello there! Today we're looking at some new quilting ideas as we use the Longarm machine to complete a Lone Star quilt. Barbara Vanice shows us a terrific cross-hatching technique, and I'll tell you about one of the best places to find a professional quilter, in a quilt shop. So stay tuned.
Linda's Longarm Quilting is made possible by Gammo Quilting Machine Company, bringing quality, innovation, and service to quilters around the world for over a quarter of a century. By YLI, making decorative threads that help you unleash your imagination. By Statler Stitcher, providing automation to enhance and expand your long-arm quilting business. And by Hobbs Bonded Fibers.
We're going to talk about the best place to find a long-arm quilter, which is good to know whether you are one or looking for one. And we're going to play with some new ideas on a Lone Star quilt. But first, Barbara Vanice is here to share a great technique with us. Welcome, Barbara.
Well, thank you for having me, Linda.
I have been staring at that antique quilt back there that you have done, and it's just gorgeous. You've totally cross-hatched it. How did you do that so wonderfully?
Isn't it wonderful? And you know, it's so easy, anyone can do it.
Fabulous. Show us how. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
First of all, we're going to put our quilt top on point.
On point. Now, now this isn't pinned onto the machine. So
no, we are going to use basting spray.
Basting spray.
Any good basting spray can do it. First thing we're going to do is measure the quilt top to make sure that it's square on the quilt, on the batting and the backing.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So we're going to, and I'm just going to mark it, give it a little mark so that I know that it's square.
Just right there on the batting.
Right there on the batting.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take this over here, and I'm going to do
making sure you're coming down the same distance.
Right, the same distance.
And that's where the point is. Okay.
Okay, so now we have our marks, and we're just going to move this a tiny little bit and smooth it out. And it's square on the batting now, and we're just going to put a little film, lightly coat the back of it.
Okay.
And you'll notice that when we do this, we can really smooth it out so that it gets it nice and firm on the batting.
Okay.
Okay?
If you have a rectangle, can you do this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. You do the same thing. You just get a point on your quilt that you can square up to the top of the
canvas.
Okay.
Right. All right, good.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring our machine over and mark the size of cross-hatching that you want.
Oh, okay.
The quilt in the back is 1/2 inch cross-hatching. We're going to do inch cross-hatching on this one. So I'm just going to simply take this and I'm going to mark.
And this is just with the water soluble?
Water soluble.
Okay.
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 And then we'll bring our machine over here.
So you start right on the edge of the quilt.
Start right on the edge of the quilt.
So that'll all be bound over. And,
exactly.
Okay.
And then we're going to put our horizontal channel lock on.
Okay.
And we're going to
And that's for the viewers,
sew across.
We might want to explain that that's like a magnet that attaches the machine to the track so you can't go vertical. It just stays in a straight line.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to clip your threads or anything.
Oh,
I just come down here to the next mark, put my channel lock on, bring it over, and quilt
back and forth.
Back and forth. And take my...
So you find your center,
each
do
time
your
we find our
in
center.
The center.
Yes.
Okay. That makes it less volatile on the sides.
Yes.
I see that, yes.
So then we're just continue to sew all the way down. So it's very, very, very easy.
Fabulous.
Okay. So the next step would be to, after you've sewn all the way down the quilt top, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it 1/4 of a turn.
Okay, turn what?
Turn the whole quilt top. We're going to
so
take
you
this,
unpin the quilt.
unpin it, and turn it a quarter of a turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see how we would do that.
Okay. Then we have this next step here.
So this is one that has been just continued down here and crosshatched this whole.
All the way down.
All the way down.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to turn the quilt top.
So this
Which
was
we've already-
removed completely from the machine,
Machine.
reloaded, and then you go the other direction.
The other direction.
Okay.
Which gives you the perfect cross hatching every time.
Perfect angle.
Yes.
Yes.
And when we're finished, we have a little example here of the finished product. Isn't that pretty?
Yes, these are beautiful tops too. Now
Yes.
this one's smaller than this one. Were they the
Yes,
same size?
that shows you how much your quilt top is going to shrink up just by doing
Just by quilting.
by quilting the cross
Well,
hatching.
I know that you can lose from 2 to 10% of your quilt depending
Yes.
on how much quilting you
and
do.
that really is a perfect example
Yes.
of how much you do lose.
And sometimes people don't understand if they make the top exactly the right size, they quilt it, then
not
it's
going to
too
be
small.
right.
Yeah, so they need
Exactly.
to allow for that. Now, Barbara, there's a lot of extra. You know, you do end up with a lot of extra batting
Yes,
and lining.
you do.
So
We have taken advantage of that by, after we trim our quilt, we have all of this bias fabric left over on the back, and we simply use that, cut it, and use it for our binding. Then we have a supply of
waste
bias
not,
binding.
want not.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's where we are.
Well, that's so fabulous. I can't wait to try one because people are a little afraid of cross-hatching, I
Yes,
think.
they are. But
Especially
this
the
is
diagonal.
so much fun, and it's so easy.
Oh, this
Very
is
easy.
wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and showing us
You're
this.
very welcome. Thank you.
You bet. Oh,
Mhm.
you know what? I love these butterfly
Isn't that
designs.
just cute?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
And this one's going to be very cute too. Where's the best place to find a professional quilter? It's no secret. Where do people with quilts gather to shop, to ask questions, and to share information? In your local quilt shop, of course. So whether you need a professional quilter and you're looking, or you are a professional quilter and you want to be found, quilt shops are a great place to start. Some quilt shops have in-house quilters who actually work in the shop, accepting orders and completing the quilts there. This is a great way to attract potential business and sure to draw a crowd because it's mesmerizing to watch a quilter at work. Often a quilter works in a shop by special arrangement with the shop owner for some percentage of the quilting income. Sometimes a quilter will rent the space. An alternative is to arrange to pick up and drop off quilts at a shop and do all of the work at your home studio. Some quilters make themselves available at a shop on a certain day of the month to consult with potential customers. Even if you don't have a special arrangement like these, a quilt shop is a great place to meet customers. Visit often. Make yourself known to the shop owners. They'll probably be glad to display your business card or flyer. If they keep a list of recommended quilters, get on it. And if they teach classes, offer to quilt samples for the teachers, perhaps at a reduced rate. You'll get the benefit of the teacher's recommendation. And people will see your work in classes and on display at the shop. Make sure to attach your name and contact information so you get proper credit. Don't limit yourself to one shop. Visit as many shops as you can in your area so you can reach the greatest number of potential customers. Whether you're looking for a quilter or you're wanting to be found, make quilt shops your first stop. I love Lone Star Quilts. My sister made this top for me and I wanted to share it with you. I particularly like the middle of it where she used a sateen fabric, a pale yellow, and she did embroidery on each piece and then fussy cut them out in the star. I did little swirl quilting in the middle and just went around all that embroidery and poofed it up, and I just wanted you to see that. The rest of the quilt I did a continuous curve on, which is a common way to quilt a lone star, and I want to show you how to do that method. But you don't always have to do traditional methods on the lone stars. You can do a quilt like this where I've done a curly feather design, and I want to show that to you too. So let's get started quilting. I'm using a variegated thread today, so it will show up very well for you. I'm going to do maybe half of this star with the continuous curve. I'm going to start out on the side like that. And when you're doing a continuous curve, you don't want to swing out too far. You want to think less rather than more. You can use your foot width as a guide if you feel like that's appropriate. And when I do it, instead of doing it in curves like this, I like to swing like this, but you have to make sure you meet the intersections. So let's start. Here we go. Intersection, intersection, intersection. Then I could take off in another direction, you see, and come back like that. Just making sure that I hit all of those intersections. Then I go over to the next section. I'm up hitting those. If you have to stop to change direction, that's okay. I have to stop to change direction. Just pause for a minute, get your bearings, and continue to go like that. Over, hitting the intersections, pause, and up, and then back. And in the points, you just go over and back. Now at this point, I will start coming back the other direction, and up, and over, and down, and over. You can see how quickly you can do an entire lone star. In fact, oftentimes, I make it a game to see if I can do that entire star without any other starts and stops. One stop, one start. I'll even roll the quilt, leave the needle in and roll the quilt if I need to, so that I can win the game with myself. And then in this section, all we have to do is come over. Now we've completed a quarter of that star already with our continuous curve. I love that. So let's stop that and show you that feathered curl. And this could be in a very large lone star. I just did a small section here, but you can do this as big or small as you want to. Starting from the middle this time, you can use those diamond shapes in your star as your guide. So I'm going to come up into this middle diamond shape, and I'm going to make my curve. Almost like a hook. And then I'm going to put just like little teardrops on it, and swing out with these feathers like this out to the edge of the star. So your hook might be considerably larger if you have a big lone star, and it would be higher up. Now I'm going to go over to the seam line with the feathers as I come back, and I'm thinking of kind of teardrop shapes. And then to fill in the area here, I'll come back up and put in a couple of other little feathers there. Now again, to do the next one, you just come over, use the piecework, do your little teardrop. It looks like a pattern, but all you're doing is using the piecework as your guide. And you can see it's very easy to move the machine. You don't want to grip the machine really tight. You want your quilting to be very smooth. Oftentimes beginners are just so worried that they're going out of lines that they grip that machine too tight. And then again, fill in. There we go. And you can see how easily you can do those beautiful curls in there. It makes it so beautiful. Let's do a couple of other designs here. Let's start with a teardrop shape, and again I'm going to come up to the top of this middle diamond shape like this and down, and then I'm going to come back up in it and I'm going to make a round design in there. And notice how I'm following the side as I come up. When you want to do a polka dot effect, you don't want to just come around like this and down, because that makes an E. What you want to think of is coming along flat and then around and then flat. So that makes a polka dot. So keep that in mind when you're doing a polka dot. This last polka dot I'll put right in the end like that. So I trace this side up doing the polka dots, and then I trace this side back down, and now I'm going to do some pattern meandering like this, reaching out, all the way to the sides to fill in the rest of that design. And I think I'll go to manual now. I've been in the automatic stitch mode. I'm going to go into manual now. Just so you can see sewing in the manual. Now I have to keep moving at an even pace to keep my stitches even. I can't go too fast or too slow. Nice and round in the end like that. Coming back. And you can almost match exactly what you've done in the other one, because in the other adjacent section of the Lone Star, because you can see it. Oh, I love this texture that you create with the polka dots. So there's another one that you could do on the entire Lone Star, and it just turns out beautiful. Let's do a couple of others over here. Oh, this is one of my favorites. This one I call a peacock fern. I'm going to come straight out here to the top of this second diamond, and then I'm going to make a teardrop. There we go. And I'm going to put another teardrop inside of it. Now I'm going to cuddle that teardrop with a fern. See how I just sort of cuddle it and then follow the fern down, cuddle and follow the fern, cuddle and follow the fern. Now at this point, I'm going to come out with another teardrop, put one inside and cuddle that fern. So I've got 3 teardrops on this, and I just reach out to the sides, coming back in. Now I'll go out this side again, come right up there, cuddle that teardrop like that, and I think I did about 3. Okay, and then it's time again for another teardrop, and a teardrop inside, ferns on the inside, and follow that up, and ferns on the outside. I love this one. This adds so much texture to it. Now let's just go right into another one. I'm going to speed up the machine like this. We're going to come up here. We're going to make a nice feather, elongated feather like that. 2 and 3. How easy is that? 2 and 3. And we'll do one more just so you can see how gorgeous that would look on the quilt, and how quickly you can do a Lone Star without stitching in the ditch, because that stitch in the ditch could take a long time. Now I think it'd be fun just to move over and show you a couple of non-traditional grandma gardens. I've just sort of traced them out here, and here's one that I really like to do. Because it is a flower garden, let's make some flowers. Just come right into the middle with that same hook that we did on the Lone Star, and let's put a beautiful rose right in the middle of this grandma's garden. Grandma would be so proud of us, I know. Wouldn't they be right here with us, quilting away? And then out in these other hexagons in the side, I'm just going to come out here and put some cute little swirls. All the way around, easy to do. Looks beautiful. And I'll stop on that one because I want to show you another one. I'll just kind of drag my thread over here. Now on this Grandma's Garden, we're going to do some little curves like this. And these are just half circles. Do a half circle in the air right now as you're sitting there. See, you can do it. Just half circles. And we can come back and we'll jump in the middle going the opposite direction. And this makes like little pumpkin seeds. It's actually a design called pumpkin seed. In the middle of this Grandma's Garden, remember those wonderful circles that we did earlier? I'm going to make some circles right in the middle. And I'm going to go into automatic for this so I can go a little slower. This is going to look like little seeds. Put one right in the middle. See, you can go over these more than once. And because the more times you do, the more it raises those little seeds up. Then over here, I'm going to do a little E and an L, an E and an L in that all the way around, and I'm using those seams. Now I don't have seams, but I did mark it off like a Grandma's Garden. So I'd use that like that, and I could stitch in the ditch around this. So you can see we're making a floral design there, and that in this area we can again just come around and make some little E's. So we're making it more like a flower. Just like that, and then of course we're going to want to just circle them. Just play and have so much fun making up your own flowers so you can have your own garden. What could be funner? So don't get locked into traditional designs. This is your day, this is your art, and it's wonderful to put your art on an art that was traditional back then. So those tops have been passed down for you to put your art on them. Next time on Linda's Longarm Quilting, we're painting and quilting. First, we'll see some beautiful results when Michelle Newman paints on silk. Then we'll look at some airbrushing and faux trapunto techniques. I'll share some good exercises you can do while you're at the Longarm machine. And I'll tell you everything the professional quilter needs to know about patterns. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. See you next time.
For more information, visit us on the web at www.lindaslongarmquilting.com.
I stumbled because it'll look funny if all of a sudden I'm going really fast. I was dragging it out. I could have, you mean I could have, yeah. I could have killed it faster. Oh, okay.
Linda's Longarm Quilting is made possible by Gamble Quilting Machine Company, bringing quality, innovation, and service to quilters around the world for over a quarter of a century. By YLI, making decorative threads that help you unleash your imagination. By Statler Stitcher, providing automation to enhance and expand your long arm quilting business. And by Hobbs Bonded Fibers,